Broadcasting Convention in Amsterdam. This year, we invited the best industry professionals to share their views on the trends and the future of the broadcasting industry. And together with me today is Trevor Francis, the Director of Business Development of Grass Valley, with over 40 years of professional experience in TV news production. So thank you for finding the time to chat with us today. How are you finding the IBC so far?
I've found it one of the busiest in many years. It's went through a bit of a quiet patch during COVID, of course, and we even lost one of the shows, but this year's been busier than ever. I haven't stopped.
Maybe we can start with you just talking a bit more about your professional path in the TV news production.
Oh, that started a long time ago when I joined the BBC. I stayed there for almost 5 years, and then I moved to ITN, which is the news provider for all of the commercial networks in the United Kingdom, and I joined them as a videotape editor, traveling all over the world during some really exciting periods of late 20th century history, including being in Berlin on the night when the wall came down.
Wow.
I was there for that and lots of other exciting things. Then at the very end of my ITN career, I was put in charge of a program to convert them to digital news production, which in about 1997 was still a new concept. We all knew the advantages of using digital systems. I helped, if you like, pilot their path from using videotapes to a digital system. And from then, and that was working for a British company called Quantel. And since then, I've been working with the manufacturing side of the industry, promoting products for news and sports and live production.
That's quite an impressive experience, and now you're working in Grass Valley.
That's correct, yeah.
Could you elaborate a bit more on the mission and what you guys do?
Our mission is to provide the ultimate platform for everyone who needs to create content to be able to do so. And that could be a large broadcasting corporation like ZDF or ARD or BBC or Sky, for example, and some of those are our customers. But the point of a platform is that we provide everything that is required to create television or content, not only for TV, but for social media, websites, and all other kinds of outlets. But actually, the analogy we often use is the mobile phone or the mobile device, and we call this a platform because it really is, because everybody knows that this, sometimes you use it as a phone, which is what it was originally designed to do.
Not very often anymore.
Not very often, but what it does have, of course, it has a camera, or maybe two, it has a microphone, it has a radio transmitter, it has a database, and it has some storage where I can keep videos and pictures. And essentially that's what Grass Valley is providing now, is a platform that can do all of those things, but just as importantly, it allows other parts of the industry, including Tinkerlist, of course, to connect to that platform to control what it's doing.
It's quite impressive how far we've already come and what kind of technologies we have where users can easily generate their own content. But what would you say with this very rapidly evolving environment, what are the challenges for more traditional news broadcasters in this media industry now?
Well, I can speak about that through the experience of my children, who are in their 20s, but and what's really changed with their generation, the millennial generation, they do not watch news on television.
Absolutely, I can confirm
Maybe you're
that.
the same. They do not watch news on television. I think it's slightly sad. They want to receive the news that they're interested in.
Yes.
And so what that means is they want to consume the news typically through their phones, through social media feeds, and so on. And what that means for the traditional broadcasters, to be relevant to that generation, to your generation, they have to put the content on those platforms. And of course, Grass Valley and Tinkerlist working together are helping the content creators to do that, but also it's not only the technical challenges, it's actually creating the content in the way that the next generations want to receive it. What you want, I think, is short, snappy. This happened.
Yeah, more tailored content for every user. And in my experience, this is maybe one of the issues with the more traditional TV news broadcasters, is that their content is very generic. As you might know, there is a really huge rise in live streaming platforms, and platforms like YouTube or Twitch or Instagram or even TikTok are really gaining popularity in even delivering news. Do you think that traditional broadcasters could learn something from them, or maybe they could adapt their business strategies and improve them to deliver more tailored experience to the viewers and the users?
I absolutely think they can. What amuses me is that the concept of a live streaming platform isn't new. They're new words, but the BBC channel, or the NRK channel if you live in Norway, is live streaming. Pictures come out of it constantly. But what you're talking about is actually, I think, much more lightweight productions, and it's one of the workflows that, again, Grass Valley and Tinkerlist have been exploring together, because there's two issues for the traditional platforms, like those long-established broadcasters. Some of them have been around for 100 years now. You know, the BBC celebrated their 100th birthday last year. But they have huge costs in producing content. The kind of technology that we're promoting with our platform, I was describing earlier on, the AMP platform, can actually provide scaled resources, which means that even one person by themselves can create very professional looking content with maybe even just an iPhone or maybe two iPhones. Not so different from what we've got here. You've got good quality, you know, professional, but you know what I mean? Relatively simple set of technology, but somebody like yourself who's learning the industry can create very well presented content with very, very little cost, but with almost all of the sophistication that the BBC or big producers in the past have provided, and then make that available on the streaming platforms. So I think what we've provided in a short sentence is we've democratized production. You know, you don't need millions of euros of investment and a huge studio and lots of people, because the business of broadcasting now can't support that. Certainly not for the number of channels, for all the interest that you were talking about. There's an opportunity for the broadcasters to continue to broadcast what I would call the premium content. Like I mentioned, they can still carry on producing premium content, like covering a big sports event with a big budget. But equally, what they can also do is go to what I would call the second or third tier events, which might have a different but smaller interest group, like a cycling event or whatever, and they can produce that cheaply and make that available through their streaming outlets, which means they actually reach far more of the audience. So I think that's an opportunity for them. But also I think what they can learn from the experience is actually learning to create content that more people actually want to look at, by probably keeping things shorter, really delivering just, you know, the information. Many people now won't even watch a soccer game all the way through. They'll just want to see the goals or the penalties.
The best moments of the game.
The best moments. They want it kind of condensed for them and packaged. So I think the other big important point, certainly from someone like me in the news background, and where the established broadcasters I think have a really key role, is the subject of fake news. And I think with AI, the threat of fake news, which is a threat to all of us really, however we consume news, because sometimes it can be a little bit funny, but sometimes it can be actually dangerous, because it's perfectly possible now for me to create video of someone who looks like the Prime Minister of Great Britain saying something that he would never say. And it takes, I think, the resources of a major established broadcaster to actually validate that content and to satisfy themselves by checking and rechecking that when something comes along like that, that it is actually valid and real.
Would you then consider AI more of a threat or a new pathway for traditional broadcasters to kind of use this technology for the benefits of live broadcasting, for example? It has been very prominent in delivering sports live using XR, AR, VR technologies. Is this more of a threat or more of an opportunity to monetize and make it really work for them rather than against them?
It's definitely an opportunity, and it's a very real opportunity, and I think AI will empower some of the things that we've been talking about, which is democratizing content, because AI can actually enable high quality production from an event to be made by far fewer people, which means it's cheaper to do it, and therefore more content from more sources can be streamed on more channels for more people. That's all really, really positive. But nearly everything that's got some positives can have some negatives. And as long as we're aware of them and we manage them, then it's not, I mean, we've all been driving cars for more than 100 years. We've all been freed by the ability to drive cars, but we're doing bad things to our world. So, you know, it's something that can be a huge benefit can cause problems. We've recognized the problems and we're dealing with them. And I think the same will be true with AI, same as so many things in the past. So recognize the problem and manage it, I think. But otherwise, AI will bring huge benefits, I think.
I see. And are there any trends that have already caught your attention at the IBC? Anything interesting for maybe Grass Valley or just in general for the industry?
The theme I've noticed that is that more and more of our customers are looking at ways to streamline their productions because of financial pressures. And again, that's coming from the proliferation of channels that are available to people, because there's a very large number of people in the world, but there's a finite number of people in the world, and therefore, if you had one TV channel for the whole world, it would receive all of the money. And if you have 1 million channels in the world, it receives 1/1,000,000th of the money per channel. You know, some a little bit more, some a little bit less. So that's the issue really that they have to deal with. It's great that we can have all of these opportunities to create media, but once you start doing that, you're diluting the finance that's available to any one of the content creators, and they either go out of business or they have to find a way to do it more economically. And also, and this is where, coming back to AI again, AI can help them by making it more attractive. So in a world where there's competition, and I think we'd all agree that competition is a good thing, because competition makes everybody achieve things, whether it's running in a race or developing new technology or developing product. But AI can definitely add value to content, which makes it more attractive to an audience. Therefore, where people are fighting for the audience share, as we would say, they can help win that fight with tools like AI.
Last but not least, what can we check at your booth this year?
What I'd love you to come and see at our booth this year is the fact that we are managing all of our customers, new ones and long-term customers, who still require, many of them still require what I would call the traditional products for TV production, vision switching, cameras of course. Cameras can never be built entirely in software. There has to be something with a lens to convert light into electrical signals. So we're managing our existing customer base, but I think we're showing the future with the AMP platform as the place where any individual or any organization, whether it's just you and me working together or it's a huge corporation, can bring together the technology that they need and in the scale that they need it, and only pay for it when they want to use it. And that's really the critical move. In the past, people purchased equipment for tens, thousands, sometimes millions of euros to buy product, to build a sophisticated TV studio. Now you can pay a few dollars, run it up, use it, and close it down again, but still have the same amount of production capability that those people had in the past. And that's what I'd love them to come and see.
All right, that sounds really interesting, and we surely will check out your booth this year.
Please.
Thank you very much for finding the time to chat with us.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you in the next interview. Bye for now.